Every empire guards secrets, and every love story hides shadows. But what unfolds when the world's richest man builds his legacy beside a woman no one foresaw? This isn't simple romance, it's power, strategy, and survival. Tonight, we step into Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's tale, a silent story glittering with diamonds and tested aboard billion-dollar yachts in Venetian marble halls. Champagne echoed through ancient corridors, designer gowns brushed stone walls, and music drifted across the night as guests believed they were witnessing love's ultimate triumph. Among them, tech giants, media moguls, European aristocrats, and political heavyweights, each invite couriered, each reply screened through layers of security. The 15th century palazzo, rented for a fortune that could bankroll a small country, glittered under candlelight. Among the guests, a man in a Tom Ford suit quietly raised a discreet camera. No paparazzi, no official photographer. This was Marcus Chen, ex-NSA operative turned elite intelligence contractor, hired for a 7-figure fee. The image he captured seemed harmless. Lauren Sanchez laughing with Elena Caminos, wife of a Silicon Valley semiconductor mogul, their heads bowed in friendly conversation. To onlookers, it was joy among the powerful. But that single photo would later ignite what experts call the most ruthless billionaire divorce ever. Its smile hiding 3 whispered words that unleashed a devastating legal storm. 3 whispered words. I deserve more. Sparked the most ruthless clause in a billionaire marriage contract, later studied by Harvard and Stanford scholars as a masterstroke of legal warfare. Captured by hidden microphones in the palazzo's floral displays, the phrase turned a fairy tale wedding into a battlefield. What began as innocent praise for Lauren's philanthropic influence was reinterpreted as dissatisfaction and ambition. The world had seen Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez as a modern Cinderella tale, yet Venice was no random backdrop. It was a stage for unmatched grandeur. $1,000,000 Murano chandeliers, gold thread couture gowns, Juliet roses worth fortunes flown under climate control, and a Grammy-winning orchestra performing for the world's elite. Every element of the wedding was deliberate, symbols in every decoration, a menu spanning continents with almas caviar, matsutake mushrooms, Italian truffles, vintage French wines, and even Norwegian glacier water priced beyond most salaries. Yet beneath the glittering spectacle, a darker plan unfolded. Jeff Bezos, the mastermind behind Amazon's rise, never acts without strategy. And this Venetian wedding wasn't romance's climax, but the start of calculated control over his new wife's world. Hidden among waiters and musicians, ex-CIA and FBI operatives documented every smile and gesture, turning a celebration of love into a meticulously monitored operation. Project Renaissance, an 8-month operation, turned the wedding into total surveillance. Every conversation captured by hidden mics, every photo tagged with facial recognition and behavior analysis, all stored in encrypted archives for future leverage. The staff had been deeply vetted, psychologically profiled, and bound by harsh NDAs, while military-grade quantum encryption, biometric monitoring, and AI micro-expression detection guarded the event. For Bezos, who had paid $36 billion in his divorce from Mackenzie Scott, ordinary love wasn't enough. Absolute control over private life was his new foundation, ensuring any future separation would be ruinous for a partner, not for him. The Venetian wedding was only a dazzling cover for a legal trap set to activate months after the honeymoon. Bezos' inner circle recalled his unnerving composure, less a groom in love than a grandmaster plotting moves ahead while Lauren admired the board, unaware of the game's depth. His disciplined routine never wavered. Early workouts, strategic planning, Amazon reviews, and legal briefings, even using romantic dinners to test her reactions.
The prenuptial agreement itself was a masterpiece of legal strategy, so intricate it reshaped the boundaries of matrimonial law.
18 months and 5 elite law firms in New York and London secretly crafted Bezos's prenuptial constitution, each firm isolated to prevent anyone from seeing the full plan. One managed finances, another intellectual property, a third international jurisdiction, while the last two built enforcement and penalties. The final 847-page document with a 23-page index detailed clauses for nearly every aspect of married life, from household routines and social media use to global business and philanthropy, making it one of the most exhaustive legal frameworks ever created.
The prenuptials language was so advanced it demanded graduate-level legal expertise, with clauses in English, French, and Latin for global enforceability. Interlinked sections formed a web where altering one clause triggered dozens of changes. Harvard's professor Helena Morrison dubbed it the Mona Lisa of financial warfare for its precision and menace. Using untested legal innovations, algorithmic penalties, AI compliance monitoring, and blockchain enforcement, it functioned less as a marriage contract and more as a lifestyle control system. Within this legal fortress, the seeds of future ruin were quietly planted. Buried within the prenuptial's dense pages were 7 deadly clauses crafted with surgical legal precision and psychological manipulation, each capable of stripping Lauren of wealth, influence, and even her voice on family or public matters. The harshest, dubbed the $5 billion boomerang, could be triggered by something as small as a careless Instagram caption or casual interview. Any hint she was exploiting the marriage for personal gain would mean total financial ruin, seizure of assets, and canceled payments. To enforce it, advanced linguistic software monitored every word, while FBI behavioral analysts, MIT linguists, and Stanford economists spent months predicting how she might unwittingly cross the line.
Thousands of simulated scenarios tested triggers for the infamous $5 billion boomerang, but the second clause, the silence protocol, was even harsher. It permanently barred Lauren from sharing her version of events, exceeding any traditional NDA. Without Bezos' written consent, she couldn't write memoirs, give candid interviews, appear in documentaries, or even make casual remarks that might be recorded. The definition of telling her story was so broad, it covered talk shows, graduation speeches, panel discussions, and private conversations. Predictive modeling software analyzed her activities, flagging anything statistically linked to potential storytelling violations.
Breaking the silence protocol meant forfeiting all financial rights and facing crushing penalties, asset freezes, criminal contempt, and algorithm-calculated damages for reputational harm to Bezos' empire. The third clause, the image trap, barred Lauren from leveraging her status as Bezos' wife for influence or profit. Every photo, charity event, or endorsement risked legal scrutiny. Its vague wording let lawyers classify even routine appearances as violations. A point-based system tracked infractions, while AI analyzed photos, cross-referenced databases, and flagged potential misuse of her status, ensuring constant monitoring and escalating sanctions if thresholds were crossed. The fourth clause, the circle of isolation, barred Lauren from any contact with Bezos' rivals, loosely defined to include current competitors like Walmart or Apple leaders, and even potential future threats. A dynamic system updated the restricted list, while advanced social network analysis traced her connections across multiple degrees, flagging even indirect links through friends as violations. The fifth, the political gag, forbade her from advocacy, fundraising, or public policy statements, effectively silencing her on major social issues given Bezos' ties to government and ownership of the Washington Post. Political activity was defined so broadly it covered voting, donations, protests, petitions, or even liking political posts, all tracked by sentiment analysis algorithms. The sixth clause, the inheritance void, ensured Lauren could inherit nothing without approval from the Bezos Legacy Trust, a 5-member board controlled by Bezos and his allies, where any member's veto blocked her claims. The seventh, the brutal cascade clause, meant that breaching a single rule triggered every other clause at once, unleashing instant asset freezes, lawsuits, and penalty calculations designed to leave her with nothing. There was no grace period or chance to explain. Resale was built for instant retaliation. Corporate lawyer Sarah Chan remarked she'd seen hostile takeovers with fewer restrictions. This wasn't a marriage contract, but a weapon disguised as romance. The Bezos-Sanchez saga still shapes one of today's most controversial dynasties, raising a haunting question, not if the marriage will endure, but what precedent it sets for power and wealth. In a world where money buys silence and loyalty, their union signals a new reality, love bound by absolute control and financial peril, its legal tactics now studied and copied by the ultra-wealthy.
Lauren Sanchez has become both prototype and test case for loving someone with power vast enough to sway nations. Her actions are scrutinized, not just by surveillance, but by wealthy onlookers, eager to see if such control can last. The deeper question is whether love can survive such conditions, or if controlling it destroys it. Bezos may have forged the perfect legal weapon, yet risked ruining what he sought to protect. In an era where wealth makes the personal political and love a strategic asset, their saga shows marriage morphing into corporate warfare. The empire endures, but like all built on fear, it may carry the seeds of its own undoing.